Good day, viewers, and welcome to the final ONSIDESA show for 2020. I know it's been a difficult year, but let's hope we can end and cheer it up for you guys with a few winners. Joining me, has been the case in the last few weeks, is our Manning Rangers League winner, Gavin Radford. Gav?
Morning, Budge. Good to be here again.
Yeah.
Some tough games during the week. Teams are really finding it hard to get results. I think Newcastle last night escaped a big one.
Yeah, I just can't believe Liverpool never scored. But, my brother from America, Ian, who played for Arcadia, he's positive. He said there's one player Liverpool cannot afford to lose.
So,
and it is.
I'm not sure.
Well, it's the goalkeeper, Alisson. He said they can cope with everybody else. So Thiago's got it all worked out. He's cock a hoop that United will sneak in. But at the end of the day...
Well, it makes it interesting now. It makes it interesting. So Liverpool are dropping points, United are right behind them. So it's good to see United playing well again.
Yeah.
And they're rotating their squad, which is also quite good. I mean, players are getting a chance, a lot of competition for places.
Yeah.
So Liverpool, we're right on your tails.
At least we can watch them, even though we have been a little bit woeful of late. As usual, we kick off with our last one standing. Heading into week 9, we had 6 guys going through. Unfortunately, 3 went out. Namely, Mark Haddon was unlucky when Southampton had 2 VAR disallowed goals when drawing 0-0 at Fulham, while a good mate of mine, Ricky Brom, was on Chelsea, who never turned up when they lost 3-1 at Arsenal. And Dave O'Connor was on West Ham, who never turned up as well when they drew 2-2 at Brighton. 3 went through. They were all on Everton, who sneaked through past Sheffield United with a late-minute goal in the last 10 minutes. And they were Sean Phillips, Sean Connolly and Clint Heap. We had a round in midweek where Clint Heap was on Arsenal. Sean Connolly unfortunately went out on Liverpool. How they never beat Newcastle, who scored last night, still amazes me. While Sean Phillips went through on Tottenham, where unfortunately we had to bring the rules of the competition where, because a game was abandoned or postponed, but the picks had already been made. So Sean went through to the next round, but he cannot use Tottenham. Gav, I'm going to give the guys a chance to see who they would pick. They both got 10 teams they can use. 9 of them are common, which are Crystal Palace, Burnley, Brighton, Fulham, Leeds, Newcastle, Sheffield United, West Brom and Wolves, while Sean Phillips can use Arsenal, and Clint Heap can use Aston Villa. I will be talking to the guys this week because the postponement of Fulham leaves it in doubt as they can both use Burnley. But guys, good luck. We'll now be joined from our Fulham studios from Stevie Brom, whose team caused a bit of a riot last night, according to Jose Mourinho. Good morning, Steve. Are you there?
I am. Good morning.
Okay, I'm sure you heard Mourinho's gripes last night. Are they valid?
I did. A little bit. I mean, obviously, I guess they wanted to leave it to the last possible moment before the game was called off. But the way it sort of unfurls is that Fulham have to make an appeal to have the game postponed, and then the Premier League weigh up the situation and make a decision. And I think that they had carried out further tests at the club yesterday morning that had come back and tested positive. So I think there was no question if they closed the training ground now that the game was going to go ahead. It is frustrating, but if it's the right decision.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you've got to look after your own bat, haven't you, Steve? So I don't blame Fulham. Mourinho's moaning, but if it happened to Tottenham, I'm sure he'd have been the first guy to get hold of the FA to sort something out.
So it's frustrating, but it's not as if they were stuck on the motorway or something waiting. They were at their training ground. Looked very comfortable where they were sitting. So I don't think it was. The biggest problem, obviously, as we know now, is when a match is called off, is where they're going to fit it in to play it.
Yeah. Steve, talking of the weekend, maybe jumping the gun here. The Burnley-Fulham game. When do you think they'll finalise the decision whether it goes ahead or not?
I think they'll leave it quite late. Obviously, they can't leave it as late as they did because the team normally would be either setting off in the morning or staying in a hotel the night before.
Yeah.
So I think that there will be some more testing. I think it really depends if anybody further at the club tests positive, and if they do, then I suspect there's be no question it will be called off. If they don't, then it might be that Fulham are forced to play it, because I guess you could look at it and say, look, they might be without 4 or 5, 6 players, but how different is that to a team that has 5 or 6 players out injured?
Yeah.
So I think they will leave it. I can't see a decision being made until Friday. Possibly Saturday, because it's a Sunday game, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Tricky one, especially for the guys on the last one standing, because they could choose Burnley and they don't go through. Although, I guess they wouldn't lose out.
Yeah. No, both of them they both can use Burnley. So I'll chat to them a bit later, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, as far as the midweek results go, Chelsea, I thought, were a little bit fortunate to draw 1-1 with Aston Villa. I know they missed a few chances, but they don't look right, Chelsea, do they?
No, certainly not at the back. I mean, Villa's second half had a real go. John McGinn was unlucky with a terrific effort.
Yeah.
And they just seemed a little bit lethargic at times. As you say, they had some chances themselves. Villa rode their luck, but Villa really had a go at them, and I was sort of pretty impressed with the way that they came back at Chelsea. So in the end, probably a fair result.
Yeah, and Man United squeaked in with a 96-minute Fergie time winner deflection. Did you watch much of the game?
I did, yeah. At home, apart from that Leeds game, they have not played well at home, and here they are sitting, 3 points behind Liverpool with a game in hand. It just shows what a crazy season it is. In other seasons, they would have been adrift by now with their home record. But it does make for a bit of excitement that you've got. There's so many inconsistencies at the moment.
Yeah,
it's hard to predict games. But Wolves, I thought, played very well. Having sort of watched the Wolves a bit this year, have been very inconsistent themselves.
Yeah.
I thought they dug in and probably pretty hard done by that they lost that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, Newcastle couldn't be hard done by. Their goalkeeper must have been man of the match. Are the wheels coming off Liverpool, especially away from home?
Yeah, I mean, you look at their record away particularly, and they just seem to have lost a bit of sharpness up front, except obviously maybe they just used up all their goals at Crystal Palace. But that game apart, if you look at their last few results, I mean, drawing with West Brom and when they were very shaky in the second half at the back, drawing at Fulham even where they didn't play at all well. And then last night they really should have won, but there's just someone like Salah sort of 1-on-1 with a goalie, you normally just buries it. But there's just something just not quite right. And at the back, I think they are a bit shaky, and Alisson pulled off a great save. Otherwise it could have been a real shock. So I mean, they go to Southampton on the weekend, and that's going to be tough for them, I think. All
right. Talking of that Southampton, how do you see that going? It's a Monday night game.
Yeah, I mean, Southampton obviously drawn the blank last couple of games. We held them 0-0, and West Ham held them.
Yeah.
But they're strong at home, and I think they're going to give Liverpool a really hard game. Danny Ings is back. I think it will be a tough game. I think Liverpool, again, should be favourites to win, but I'm not sure he's quite sure who his best defence is with all the injuries they've got. And they really looked. I thought they were very shaky in the second half against West Brom.
Yeah, no panic. I think Thiago will start, and once the midfield starts functioning, I think they'll be okay. Now, Tottenham, who Mourinho will still moan till the game against Leeds, they play on Saturday. How do you see them going?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really good game. Leeds, look at their record this season. They've scored 30 goals and conceded 30.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing's guaranteed this, without saying the kiss of death on this, we expect there to be goals.
Yeah.
And they can only sort of play one way, and it might fall into Tottenham's hands because Leeds, as they did at United, I mean, they just threw everybody forward and then got caught. Tottenham like to sit back a bit and then catch teams on the break. So I think there will be goals. I fancy that. Tottenham might just edge it, but I think there will be goals.
All right. Well, one game I doubt there'll be many goals is Brighton against Wolves. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I think if Wolves play as they did at United, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they get a result there. Yeah. Brighton have got a shocking home record. They've won. They haven't won this season. I think they've only won one game at home in the whole of 2020.
Yeah.
It's away where they picked up points, and this would be a worry for them because they tried against Arsenal. They were a better team in the first half, but the second half, Arsenal deserved it.
Yeah.
I'd fancy Wolves here. I think if they can play as they did at United, I think they will be too strong for Brighton. And not sure what Graham Potter, if he looked at his team selection the other night, he dropped his main goal scorer, Neil Maupay, who played well and scored against West Ham, and you just didn't look. They didn't look. Second half particularly, they didn't look like they were going to score. So it's a tricky one, but I fancy Wolves here.
Steve, can you see Sheffield United getting anything at Crystal Palace?
Well, they do put up a fight. I mean, as I say, teams are not beating them easy.
Guys, it looks like our contact with Steve has gone down, so we'll try and get him back. But in the interim, we'll start on our show with the Premiership. If you can put the Premiership slide. Gav, kick off on Friday, 7:30. Everton against West Ham. Now, Everton never played in midweek because the game got called off. How do you see it going?
Well, you got a West Ham team that we were all on last week. I thought that was going to be a shoo-in for us.
Yeah.
Playing a little hot and cold at the moment. So Everton at home, 1-2, lost 2. I'm going to lean towards Everton. I think they can get a result here. West Ham, I wasn't impressed last week with their performance. I know it's the festive season and something might have crept into their game, but I'm leaning towards Everton.
Yeah, it's a David Moyes reunion. He goes back to the club that made him at Everton. So I think it's a tight game. I fancy Everton. I don't know whether Richarlison's going to be playing. He's got protocols from the concussion. Really disappointed in West Ham. In midweek against Southampton, they never really fired. 9-10, fair price, not for me. I think the draw's a big play. I think it'll be a tight game, but of the two teams, Everton. Now you've been gloating about Man United, 7-10 against Aston Villa.
Well, this is going to be a great game. I think Aston Villa really playing well, United playing well. Like Steve said, the United's home form very shaky. They sneaked in a result the other day, Rashford in the 93rd minute. But we are winning. That's the secret. You got to stick with a team that keeps winning. And they're finding a way to win. Whereas a couple of months ago we were all saying United couldn't pick up a point at home. I'm leaning towards United. I think we dominated the ball quite a lot the other night without doing too much with it. But I'm leaning towards Man United to beat Villa. Maybe a 2-1, 1-0 game.
Yeah, I agree the way we're going. I think also we've got a fresher squad. Aston Villa haven't got many players. I think the key battle is going to be, can Wan-Bissaka contain Grealish? If he can do that, we get tight to the middle of the park. I see there being plenty of goals. Villa score goals. Grealish has been outstanding. But I just think United, with the freshness of the squad, we should have too much. 7-10 is in my play. But Man United to win, both teams to score is 2-1. So well worth having a dip.
That could be a good bet.
Now Tottenham kick off on Saturday lunchtime against Leeds United. This should be a cracker.
Yeah, you get Jose putting his team out there. And I was listening to Andy Townsend talking that one goal's never enough in the Premiership, and Spurs keep getting that one goal, and then they just sit on it. You've got a Leeds team that's going to come forward the whole 90 minutes. They don't know any other way to play. They're just going to keep attacking you. Jose, if he's going to try and play the counter-attacking game, Leeds, I can see them just throwing everything forward. It's a very tough game for Spurs here, and Jose must have a proper game plan to stop these guys. If you dominate the ball against them and slow them down to your pace, I think Spurs should win the game. But if it becomes an open game, I think Leeds are in with a shout.
Yeah, I think this is like Man United. This is Jose's masterpiece. I like 8-10. Only thing is they haven't been playing well, Tottenham, where Leeds have been. They're a Grand Prix team. The football they play is brilliant. I just think this is tailor-made to get caught on the break.
I see Harry Kane sitting deeper and deeper for Spurs all the time. He's more in his own half, being the first line of defence, than in the opposition's half. And he's trying to be the one that creates the goals from deep. He picks up the ball loose and he sends Song on his way, and then he supports the play after. So, I mean, he's got to come from deep. So he's getting a lot more work, and he's doing a lot more defensive work. It's anything negative about Jose, but he really sets his team out to win games, and you've got to give him credit for that. Yeah,
the writing is on the wall. A good mate of ours, Ernie Wallace, doesn't watch Spurs anymore. There's several Tottenham people that I know, and even spoke to Laf the other day. There's rumblings in the camp about the football. They're a footballing team. They can't believe what Jose is doing. Hopefully he opens the gates. Would I take 8-10? No, but I do think they're good things. Now, Crystal Palace are my bet of the weekend. Playing a Sheffield United team that can't buy a victory. As hard as they try, they just don't seem to win. Crystal Palace with Roy Hodgson, they always seem to win these type of games. This is what keeps them alive in the Premiership. How do you see it?
Yeah, this is 15th verse 20th, so it's the bottom of the table clash. Yeah. I've got to mention to my mate Dave Peterson, who's a staunch Crystal Palace supporter.
Okay.
But Crystal Palace drawn 2, lost 2 of their last 4 home games. A tough game for Sheffield United. Like you say, they can't buy a result. Palace, you would think, would sneak it. Saha with a bit of magic. I think they'll win the game, maybe 2-1, 3-1. I think both teams to score in this game.
Yeah, I think there has to be goals. Palace have got to go for it, and Sheffield United always go for it, especially in their predicament. Now, Brighton against Wolves. I was really impressed with Wolves against United. They made several changes. The only problem for me in this game are both teams play with 3 at the back and don't really commit too many players forward. If I was having a bet, even money to draw at half-time would be my play. But I fancy Wolves of the 2 teams. How do you see it?
Yeah, 17th plays 12th. And the way Wolves played the other night, they dominated the ball against United. They created quite a few chances early in the game, hitting the target. A lot of youngsters in the team. I think he made about 6 or 7 changes to his squad, as well as United making changes. But Wolves don't deserve to be in 12th position in the log. The way they play and the players that they have, it's like a mini Portugal team going out there at the moment. Good players. You would think that Wolves have got to turn the corner sooner or later, and 18-10 looks like a good price.
Yeah, I'll say my best value bet of the weekend. On to our second page, where we have West Brom at home to Arsenal. Now, watch the first half an hour of the West Brom game. Leeds blew them away. Big Sam, I thought his team were well set up against Liverpool at Anfield, but they've got to get the 3 points here. Arsenal were woeful in the first half against Brighton, but deserved to win the second half. 6-10?
Yeah, this is what we talk about with the league being so inconsistent. You got West Brom taking points off Liverpool and then losing 4-0 at home. Arsenal team really struggling for goals, but that little bit of class that they do have, I can't see West Brom living with Arsenal in this game. Arsenal haven't impressed, but they've got to win a game like this to get back on the game. So Arsenal for me at 6-10 could be the best bet of the weekend.
Okay. We're trying to get hold of Steve in our Fulham studios. I think we may have him, but as soon as he does come back, I will get the signal from the guys in the office and we'll transfer. Now, Burnley against Fulham.
Another 2 teams struggling. John Dyche team, he sets his team out to get good results. He picks up the 1-0s, the 2-1s. Fulham team, like you say, full of COVID at the moment. Burnley team picking up their home points, and that's what gets him through the season. 14-10 looks like a good price. I just don't know how the Fulham mindset is at the moment with all their players. So I'm leaning towards Burnley to get a result.
Yeah, I think Burnley are good things. I went both teams to score when they got beat 1-0 by Leeds. The referee burgled them. They're by far the better team. Sneak past Sheffield United, but they had a day less to prepare. I think 14-10 is a great price. Now, Newcastle last night. I fancy Leicester certainties. Against Crystal Palace, what Brendan Rodgers did by keeping all the boys on the bench. They missed a penalty and then they tried to get out of it late. They drew 1-1, costly draw. Newcastle surely cannot have as much luck as they had last night.
Geez, Newcastle, I think they used all their luck up last night. I mean, Liverpool should have buried them about 6 or 7. But the goalkeeper had a great game for Newcastle. I mean, he's a stand-in keeper, I believe. And he played phenomenally well. So, I mean, Newcastle at home, this is time of the year that the crowd would be behind them. They would be packed into the Newcastle Stadium there. But Leicester should have too many guns for them. Brendan Rodgers also done an exceptionally well job with Leicester City. 6-10 looks like the steal bet for the weekend.
Yeah, I think so.
Vardy to score as well.
Yeah, there's always even money, Vardy. So if you want to have a bet and goal scorers, he's one. I'm going to be taking the 16-10 Leicester to win by more than 1 goal. But I think Leicester are aimers. Now, the big game of the weekend is Chelsea-Man City. It's reportedly no more COVID cases for Man City. Is that a good or bad thing?
Yeah, I think they had a nice little break. They haven't had a game during the week, so they had a nice break, the Man City boys. Chelsea under pressure. Frank Lampard, see there's a lot of media speculation that Thomas Tuchel from PSG is going to take over at Chelsea. So I think Frank's looking over his shoulder at the moment.
Yeah.
The 2 German boys don't look like they're quite settled in the England game at the moment. Both battling to score goals for Chelsea. Yeah. So they trying to look to see who can get some goals. Man City, at the end, we all know how good they are. They can pass the ball around you. Looking like a very good game this. You would think Man City would be too good, but Chelsea need to bounce back, and I think Frank will have them fired up for this game. So I'm going Chelsea in the draw.
You like it. I think the draw 5-2. This is going to be a park the bus thing for Chelsea. Man City don't score many goals. I know Aguero's in and out, but if you have a look recently, they struggled for goals. Chelsea, I don't know, when Giroud seems to play up front, they're a better team. Yeah, they've only won one of the last 5, and if Frank's team don't get a result here, I don't think he will get fired. I just think they've got to give him a chance. But he has spent a lot of money. You'd never think 19-10 Chelsea at home. But for me, in this particular clash, I think 5-2 the draw is the right way. Now, Monday night game is Southampton versus Liverpool. Danny Ings, the ex-Liverpool striker, he is back. I think he's going to cause a bit of havoc. How do you see it?
Yeah, tough game for Liverpool on the road. Their form just seems to be slipping, but they are creating a lot of chances. They're a bit like a Man City team that creates the chances and not putting them away at the moment. Watched the game last night against Newcastle. They had numerous chances to score. I mean, Salah had one-on-one with the keeper. It's a formality over the weeks. And to see them missing goals against West Brom, Newcastle, you're starting to wonder maybe things are starting to come undone for them. A very good game in the making. Liverpool, the home away team, I think that 6-10 could be a good value bet, even though it's 6-10. But Southampton will give them problems.
Yeah. I think both teams to score look a good thing. I've always been a Shaqiri lover. He's got to come in and play a part. It's a difficult game at Southampton, but Southampton not the biggest of squads. But Liverpool normally go down there and give them a few goals or score a few goals. Obviously, as United man, I hope they don't win. But there's some interesting stats about this. Liverpool's last 7 games, 3 wins, 4 draws. Well, their last 7 games away from home, they've won 1, drawn 5, and obviously lost 1. They've been Aston Villa.
They talk about United's home form, but you wouldn't think Liverpool would be on top of the log with that away record, with all the draws. But they're a good squad.
Steve, have you got your back?
You have, those
the Gremlins
got to work again.
All right, no panic at all. Gavin and I have just been discussing our premierships, so we've done them. Steve, the Burnley-Fulham game, they'll make a decision in the next few days. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely. I think they'll leave it as late as possible, but obviously Fulham have to travel up there. So I think that we'd know 24 hours before. I don't think they could call it off any later than that.
Okay, we asked you about the Crystal Palace Sheffield United before the Gremlins took over. How did you see that going?
I think Sheffield United are going to go down fighting. I think they will go down. But Palace, I thought, were very fortunate the other day against Leicester. Leicester really should have wrapped it up in the first half. I think it'll be close. I think I can't see Sheffield United winning, but they could hold Palace. I think that they're just fighting for their lives at the moment.
All right, and last but not least in the Premiership, the big one is Chelsea against Man City. Can Frank Lampard get a reprieve?
Well, I think he needs it. The paper talk here is that he's under pressure. Again, City haven't played. Whether their players are going to be a little bit fresher, I can't see Chelsea winning that somehow. They're going to have to play really well. City, they're unbeaten in a few now. They're not setting the world alight, but they're hanging on with their games in hand. They're not far off themselves. Yeah. So I fancy City actually. I think if they, again, they're not firing as we know they can, and it depends. If they've got most of their players back, but I think City might just be a bit too strong.
Okay, and then they've got the big League Cup game next Wednesday against Man United. That should be a cracker.
Yeah, definitely it is, especially as it's a one-off game.
Yeah.
I think that, so there's no playing trying to be cagey and playing over 2 legs. So I think that's looking forward to both those games.
Okay, Steve, on to the Championship. What's the 2 games last night in between the Liverpool-Newcastle? Huddersfield against Reading. What's Reading? They hung on for dear life against Swansea last night. How do you see that going?
Yeah, Reading are sort of hanging on in there a little bit, after that amazing start, and then they wobbled. Huddersfield are playing well at home, though.
Yeah.
They've sort of turned the corner at home, and I think if there's going to be a result, I fancy Huddersfield there.
Okay, Luton Town, QPR, London Derby. Can Luton continue to find form?
Well, QPR really not having a good season. They struggled to a point the other day. Luton are strong at home.
Yeah.
I just fancy if there's going to be a result, I think it'll probably be Luton, but I think it'll be close. But I fancy Luton at home.
Okay, now Millwall host a Coventry City side who I thought were desperately unlucky when losing 2-0 to Preston on Tuesday night. Millwall haven't played the last few things. Do you think freshness will help them?
I guess it can work two ways. Either it works for them, or they're they're a little bit ring rusty because they've missed a couple of games. But they are the draw specialists. They've drawn 10 of their 20 games this season.
Yeah.
I think to me a draw looks like a good result there for Coventry. Although they're closer to the bottom, they're trying hard. As I say, every game's an away game for them. So I fancy. I can't see a clear winner there. I think it could go either way, but a draw probably not a bad result.
Okie dokie. Now, Swansea versus Watford's one of the two big games in the Championship.
Yeah.
I watched Swansea last night. Not a bad team. Can Watford beat them?
Well, I mean, Watford obviously now under new management again. Obviously got off to a winning start. Hung on a little bit towards the end, but it was a good. It's a very good win for them against a good Norwich team. I think they're going to fancy that they can get a point there. Swansea missed the chance of going second last night by not winning, but I think that's going to be very close. I think again it's one of those that could go anyway. It'll be interesting to see if Watford can put a run together under new management. It sounded like there was no love lost between some of the team have made comments about the previous managers. So maybe they're going to play for this one.
All right, Stephen. Last but not least, Stoke City versus a Bournemouth team who I fancied to win last night, missed numerous chances. How do you think that'll go?
Yeah, and I think Bournemouth will probably kick themselves that have conceded a very, quite a relatively soft late winner. When they, the looks of it, they were on top. So Stoke, are doing okay, but I'm not sure that Bournemouth will lose that. I think they're going to be pretty determined to try and get back on winning ways. So I fancy either a Bournemouth win or a draw there.
Okay, Steve. Now it's pressure time for the new year. I need your best bet and your best value bet, please.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Everton. I just think they could be too strong at home for West Ham. I was very disappointed with West Ham against Brighton. And my value bet, I'm going to go for Derby County. I think they've just turned the corner. Had a cracking win during the week.
Yeah, I actually watched it. They murdered Birmingham,
Yeah, I mean, again, sort of 3 up in no time. I think they'd be too strong. Sheffield Wednesday obviously sacked Pulis, got a win during the week, but I still think that Derby, with the run they're having at the moment, I just think, they're not underdogs particularly, but I think that they might surprise one or two people and start putting a bit of a run together.
Yeah, I agree. 17-10 looks a fair price. Steve, thank you for everything you've done for us. Take care and have a good new year.
Yeah, let's hope that 2021 is better for everyone.
Yeah, you're right. Steve, take care and we'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Steve.
Cheers.
All the best. Yeah, it's our contact in the Fulham studio, Stevie Brom. Gav Championship, I tell you what, if ever a league, I thought that you couldn't predict. The Premiership's worse. So we'll kick off on Friday night. I agree with Steve. I watched Derby the other day. 15-10 Derby, I think it's a good thing. How do you see it?
Good victory for them during the week. It looks like Wayne Rooney's turned into management quite quickly. Away from home, it's always difficult in this league because didn't you think you got a good thing? It comes back to bite you. But on form at the moment, Derby really doing well. I mean, they've won 2, drew one of their last 3 away. I think Derby at 15% could be a good value bet.
Yeah, they'll have a few rand of mine. Now, one team that can't win at home is Birmingham City. They've taken 1 point from the last 5 games. They've lost the last 4 at home. They were woeful. But Blackburn Rovers, the league's top scorers, have only won 1 and 7. 13-10?
It looks like Blackburn Rovers to win this game, but their form away from home, they've drawn 1, lost 3, so it's an iffy game for Blackburn. But if you look at Birmingham, lost all 4 home games. Their run of form at the moment is terrible. Like I say, Blackburn always seems to find their way in my bets, and I'll stick with them again this weekend.
Yeah, now Brentford I watched last night. I've got a bet with my mate Andrew Riddell, who lives in that side of the world. I've gone for Watford to finish above Brentford. I was really impressed what I saw. Yeah, they gave Bournemouth a hard game. Defensively, they were suspect, but in the end, I thought they were deserved winners. Good things to beat Bristol City.
It should be good things too. They're in the semi-finals of the cup as well, playing Spurs. So I think they've got a lot to play for in heading top of the league. Brentford 7-10, good bet. Bristol City just keep failing, letting us down. They've won 1, lost 4, their last 5 away. So Brentford for me.
Yeah, the only thing is, I just wonder if Brentford may rest a few players with the Tuesday game against Spurs to come. But on what I saw last night, they should win. Now, Huddersfield, Have won the last 5 games at home against a Reading team that hung on for dear life against Swansea. You missed a goal, missed a great header. Keeper made a brilliant save. I was going to make this my value bet. It isn't my bets. I take 16 to 10. I've already taken Huddersfield Town.
I'm leaning towards the draw in this game. I think Reading are a lot better than what their form suggests. I know they've won 1, drawn 3, lost 1 of their last 5 away. So, I mean, they're not a bad side. They are sitting quite high on the table. I think it is they're in 6th position in the table, whereas Huddersfield's 12th. I think this game's got draw written all over it for me. Huddersfield team that also, I mean, they've won their last 5, but they're flat to deceive. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the draw.
Yeah, that's Marcelo Bielsa, the Leeds manager. That's his right-hand man who's taken over there. I'm all over Huddersfield. On to the next page, London Derby. I was going to make Luton Town my best bet of the weekend until QPR equalised against Norwich, and they should have beat them from the highlights. I've gone win and draw, Gav. How do you see it?
Yeah, Luton for me, I think Luton will win this game. They've won 3, drawn 3 of their last 6 home games, where QPR have drawn all 3 away.
Yeah.
QPR for me just flatter. They're not a betting proposition for me. Yeah. So I'm gonna put my neck out and go with Luton in this game. I think they're a good value at 14 to 10.
Yeah, I haven't won in 9, but local derbies are normally tense and tight. I think there'll be goals, but I've gone win and draw. Now Millwall, I can't believe it. They've won 1 of their last 13 league games. They haven't won in the last 7 at home against a Coventry side who lost 2-0 at Preston, didn't deserve, made 2 mistakes. I fancy Coventry. I wouldn't be taking the 32 to 10 to win, but win and draw for me at 8 to 10. I fancy them.
Yeah, 16 versus 17. Millwall drawn 5, lost 2 of their last 7. Where Coventry have won 1, drawn 2, lost 2 of their last 5. Draw written all over this game. Can go either way, but for me the draw looks like a big run in this game.
Yeah, I agree. Now Norwich, I watched them against Watford last week. They didn't deserve to lose when they were beaten 1-0. The 8 to 10 against Barnsley. They did have a terrible result at midweek when they drew 1-0 with QPR. Barnsley have won 6 out of 8, but Norwich are a class team in that league. 8 to 10, Gav.
Yeah, Norwich looks like a good bet, but like you say, Barnsley team that's getting results recently. I mean, 1-3 and lost 1 of their last 4 away. So the team that can score goals. But you would think Bookie up front for Norwich, I think they will have that little bit of extra class, pushing for top of the table positions, looking for promotion this year. I don't think they want to slip up to a Barnsley team. So 7, 8 to 10 looks like good value bet.
Yeah, well, our next game is my hometown boys, Preston North End, and I'm going to have a few rand on them. I haven't been impressed the way we've been playing. We were lucky to beat Bristol City 1-0 at home, and against Coventry we won 2-0 at home. We've won our last 3 league games, the last 3 at home, but Nottingham Forest, they haven't won in their last 8 away from home. Chris Hughton makes his teams to beat. So I've thrown the draw in here, Gav. How do you see it?
This is a Preston team that I just cannot catch. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team for me. 15 to 10 looks like good price for them. 1-3 drew 1 of their last 4 at home. Forest sitting in 21 position, drawn 3, lost 5. Forest team that also just flatters to deceive, can't get going. You expect them to get results, but it's just not happening for them. You would lean towards Preston, but I would go Preston in the draw.
Okay, our final slide in the championship, Rotherham at home to Cardiff. Now, Rotherham have lost 7 of the last 9 league games. They've won 2 of the last 5 at home against a Cardiff side who, when I watched early in the year, were looking impressive, but they've lost 4 of the last 5. Upset possibilities here?
Yeah, I would think Cardiff would win this game. They are a much better team than their form is suggesting at the moment, and the Rotherham team sitting in 23rd position in the log. I can't see Rotherham getting anything from this game. I'm quite strong on Cardiff City here.
Okay, goals galore here, both teams to score. But if you want to get greedy, take Cardiff to win, both teams to score. I think I saw 5 to 2. Now, Swansea City, I watched them a little bit in between the Liverpool game last night. Don't concede goals at home against a Watford team who squeaked past Norwich. As Steve said, everybody seems to be happy with this new manager. I was going to take 18 to 10, but the away form is woeful. How do you see it?
Yeah, 1-1, drawn 4, lost 2 of their last 7 for Watford, where Swansea have won 5 and drawn 3 of their last 8 home games. 3rd versus 5th in the log should be a great game for this division. I'm going to lean towards Swansea as the home team. I think most of these tight games come around, you've got to lean towards the home team. Just a pity there's not a crowd to push these teams forward. Both teams would want to get into the playoffs and promotion this year. I'm going with Swansea.
Going for Swansea. Draws a player, but I'm funking for Watford because of my bet. Now, Wycombe Wanderers got a result during the week. Now, they host a Middlesbrough team who've lost 4 out of the last 5 under Neil Warnock. Originally, when I thought 9 to 10 was a good price, but just looking at their away form, I'm sceptical. How do you see it?
Yeah, it's a tough game for Middlesbrough. I mean, a Wickham team that's going to be fighting for everything.
Yeah.
And well, these teams, like little ankle biters, they get in there and they try and disrupt your game, and then they sneak one and then they hold on. Good price, Wickham at 33 to 10, but they're 24th in the log.
Yeah, bottom of
They
the league.
nowhere. They really got to turn things around, and if they're going to turn it around, they need to get a result against Middlesbrough. And saying that, Middlesbrough is a big club. They need to win games like this to get up in the table, and for their season to turn, they need to win a game like this. Yeah. So, I mean, I would go Wickham in the draw for the value.
Yeah, tough game. It's just difficult when you fancy a team and they've lost 4 or 5 away from home. But let's see. For me, it's a 1, 2, 3 in exotics, but 2 and 3, I think I put in the soccer 13. Now, last but not least, it's the quarter to 10 our time. Stoke City against Bournemouth. After 20 minutes, I'd pencil in Bournemouth as my bet of the weekend, but as the game went on, I'm just concerned that while they may have the best squad in the league, I don't know how many of the players are up for the fight. And one thing everybody knows, you go to Stoke, this isn't going to be an easy game. Would you take 12 to 10?
I'm actually leaning towards the 12 to 10. I think Bournemouth will get promoted this year. I think they're that type of team. They've got a bigger squad than most of them.
Yeah.
I think it's a case of just getting the balance right when you travel away from home. You got to weather out the storm for the first 20 minutes in the game and then come forward with a bit of class. I'm leaning towards Bournemouth, but a very tough game for them to win.
Yeah, sometimes teams are cock a hoop. They have one bad result and they rebound. That wouldn't surprise me. But after watching last night, I was really disappointed in them. We've got 2 PSL games on the weekend. We've got Mamelodi Sundowns against Pirates and Maritzburg against Celtic. There was a major variance in the betting odds, so we didn't put them up other than the draw. Gav, Mamelodi Sundowns play Pirates. The odds I've got are 13 to 10 Sundowns, 2 to 1 the draw, 22 to 10 Pirates. How do you see it going?
Oh, tough game for both teams. I think it's a nice festive game for the guys to watch over the weekend. Yeah. Sundowns, good ball playing team. Pirates with a bit of form. Hard to break down recently, but I would think that Sundowns with a little bit of class will win this game. But a very tough game for both teams. It'd be a nice TV game to watch.
Yeah, nice and tight if you ask me. Now, our local team in KZN here, Maritzburg United, 8 league games, only 2 points. One of them was against Sundowns when obviously they drew. They host a Brom Celtic team who got to the final of the MTN 8. How do you see it?
Yeah, this is another tough game for Maritzburg United. I'm rooting for them. I think they're a good side. Just a little bit of luck gone against them. I keep saying Tinkler should never been fired from the position. He was trying to put something into place. Celtic team in the cup final, they lost towards the later stage of the game to Pirates. Tough team to beat Celtic. Always up for a game. To me, the draw looks like a big run in this game. Yeah. Guys are coming off a bit of a festive break and things. Maybe the draw 2 to 1 will be a good value bet.
Yeah, I think both will be tight affairs and close contests. We now go on to our Saturday soccer exotics. Our first one is the Soccer 6. And I've thrown the draw in with Tottenham at home against Leeds United. I've gone the field in the 2 PSL games, namely Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, and Maritzburg United against Brom Celtic. I think Crystal Palace will be too good for Sheffield United. I'm going Wolves, win and draw at Brighton, and ending it with Arsenal to be too good at West Brom, 2-1-6. On to the Championship with a Spanish game thrown in. I'm bankering Huddersfield to beat Reading. I'm going Luton Town, win and draw at home against Queen's Park Rangers. I'm going Preston North End, win and draw at home against Nottingham Forest. I don't see Cardiff City losing at Rotherham United, and I'm chancing Watford to win or draw at Swansea City, and I'm siding with Sevilla in the local derby to avoid defeat against Real Betis, 192. On to the Soccer 10. I'm going Blackburn Rovers, win and draw at Birmingham. I'm bankering Brentford to beat Bristol City. Huddersfield Town to beat Reading. I'm going with Luton Town to avoid defeat at home against Queen's Park Rangers. I'm chancing Coventry City to avoid defeat at Millwall. I'm going Preston North End, win and draw at home against Notts Forest. I'm bankering Norwich to beat Barnsley. I'm going with Cardiff City, win and draw at Rotherham United. I'm going Watford, win and draw at Swansea City, and ending it with Middlesbrough, win and draw at Wycombe Wanderers, 256. On to the Soccer 13. I'm bankering Arsenal to beat West Brom, apologies. Crystal Palace to beat Sheffield United. Wolverhampton Wanderers, win and draw at Brighton. I'm going Bournemouth to win at Stoke City. I'm going Watford, win and draw at Swansea City. Bankering Huddersfield Town to beat Reading and Brentford to beat Bristol City. I'm bankering Norwich City to beat Barnsley. I'm going Watford, win and draw at home against Queen's Park Rangers. Blackburn Rovers to avoid defeat at Birmingham City. I'm going Preston North End, win and draw at home against Notts Forest. And ending with 2 win and draws. Middlesbrough against Wycombe Wanderers and Cardiff City at Rotherham United 256. On to our budgies bets for the new year. I'm going Man United to beat Aston Villa and both teams to score. I'm going Burnley to beat Fulham, as well as Leicester to beat Newcastle. And going Wolverhampton and Wolves to win or draw at Brighton. 16-1, 3,200 to 200. On to the Championship. I'm going Brentford to be too good for Bristol City. I'm chancing Huddersfield Town to beat Reading. And I'm going Coventry City against Millwall, Preston against Notts Forest, and Watford at Swansea. All to win or draw, 2,900 to 200. On to our PSL double. I'm going Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, and Maritzburg United, Bloemfontein Celtic to both end in draws. 8-1, I thought it's great value, so 1,600 to 200 is our play. Our both teams to score sides are Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Tottenham Leeds, Southampton Liverpool, Huddersfield Reading, and Rotherham Cardiff, 2,900 to 200. On to our team goal side. I'm going Arsenal, Burnley, Crystal Palace and Leicester City, all to score over 1.5 goals. 16-1, I thought was a great price. And our Collis King, 6 or Nixa. I've gone Man United to beat Aston Villa, Arsenal to win at West Brom. I'm going Leicester to be too good for Newcastle. Transferring to Spain, where Atletico Madrid I think will be too good for Deportivo Alaves. Real Madrid, even though they drew last night, should be too good at home for Celta Vigo. And ending it with Inter Milan to beat Croton. 12-1, 2,400 to 200. Gav, you've never been shy for a bet. Who are you going for?
Well, there's a couple of good bets this weekend. I thought Arsenal were a very good price at 6 to 10. Leicester on the same token, also 6, 7 to 10 for Leicester. And even money for Everton. I think that treble will work out a nice treble for the guys. Value
bet?
Value bets, I'm sure, would be Crystal Palace. I like Crystal Palace at about 12, 13 to 10. I think they'll get a result against a woeful Sheffield United team.
Yeah, I agree. I think Palace are certainties. And as I said, my value bet is Wolves 21 to 10, I think I saw.
We've got to give a shout out to our good mate Lionel for catching the Soccer 13, by the way.
Yeah, Lionel.
Well done, Lionel. 32 Rand bet for a 98,000 payout. Yeah, well, excellent. Well done. Well played, buddy.
Yeah, and Preston finally made him some money. Well done, Lionel. To everybody, thank you for watching. Stay safe and have a prosperous new year. And until next time, please stay on side.